Hello, and this is a review of an OGS game I had with a 7Q. This is a teaching game, no handicap, analysis off. And this is a game where, had analysis been on, he would have done better, but I prefer analysis off even for teaching games because realistically, like practicing reading and seeing where you lack in reading skills is a big part of actually improving. So we start off pretty regularly. I do this, he does this, I take, do this. He goes down. I I definitely should have done this because I don't like the pincer here, especially because he has these two stones here. But this isn't a huge mistake. I just take that. That's not a good move because this move is here later on. So he does that. I jump out. I should have just so when people do this, you should just do this to fix and solidify your corner. Got too greedy. This actually isn't a good move. He does this. I go here. At this point, yeah, this is a good move, or you could just ignore me and go somewhere else. This is fine. I go up here, and that's also not a very good move because this leaves this down here. This invasion is a little bit complicated, but generally, there's no way white can actually stop you. And at least you will actually be able to push white, as you can see, down to the second row, and you can get a ton of thickness here. So definitely definitely not really good. Also, you could just kind of do this. I wouldn't suggest it right now. But, if you actually do something like this, it's impossible to kill. So there's a lot of invasion opportunities. There's actually a ton of invasion opportunities for black because white just can't really deal with the invasion opportunity right now. So definitely not a good move. If you see this shape, it's much better just to go here and have a bit of territory instead of leaving the invasion. So do this, and this invasion opportunity just stays here for a long time. Neither of us plays it. So this move, probably not. I mean, if it were me, I would probably just jump up and continue to build my moyo here. This is not necessary. I'm not threatening this group. So him playing here, this doesn't build your moyo. It's kind of like a wasted move. If anything, this or this at this point would be a much, much better move. So I come up. He does this. This is actually okay, but it does leave this stone a little bit vulnerable. He does that. That's probably not a great move, honestly. He does that. There's not much territory here, honestly, because my class move is actually there. I do this right away. This is probably this is too small to do right away, by the way. He digs that, and this is his first major mistake of the game. There is no way you can try to protect this territory and have me pluck the stone. Because plucking the stone has additional value. I strengthen my liberties over here, so the threat on this corner is slightly less, although this is still an easy invasion. And plus it's Sente for me. So you definitely cannot do this. I shouldn't have connected here. I should have just fixed this issue. Because if you spend two moves doing this, I get a lot more value out of the two moves by this than you ever will here. So remember that. That's I was dumb and I connected, which is not a good move for me. But I connected. He also connected because he needs to fix this error. But in here, the connection's much better than here because this leaves this opportunity later. And if you do this, there's always there could be other Aji here that you don't want, this for instance. Right now this doesn't work, but in the future if this builds up, this could definitely work. Also this, I mean right now you can just do this, but well no, right now you have to, right now you probably have to connect and that's perfectly fine. And I can't do anything, but if this ever builds up here, if other stuff builds up here, then you might actually have a problem in there. And basically connecting here just takes this peep out. So this is not a good fixing move. Right now I'm not going to do anything. It's going to fly out here. I think I've been playing Katago Microbot a little too much because generally when any other player tries to attack something like this, they don't kill it. But when Katago somehow attacks this, it eventually dies. So I guess like I was just like doing that to prevent. And this is a really bad move by me. Yes, it kills the stone and it settles me, but I'm just like I guess I just got spooked by all the bot playing. But generally, human players, especially around like even around the 1 Dan rank, would not actually be able to kill this group. So, and the thing is, like if it was even opponents, if it was like GoBot against GoBot, they wouldn't be able to kill this group either. So this group isn't really in that much danger. I just wanted to settle it, but it was too much of a loss for me right now. So he does this, I do this. This is really not much territory because there's these classes down here. I do this, he does this, I do this, he does that, and I just take some of the bottom territory. Now you notice like this game actually stayed pretty even for far longer than I had anticipated because I was playing fairly fast on this game. And I made a lot of wrong moves. He does this, I crawl on the bottom. This particular move, so Katago does this all the time, and it drives me absolutely insane that Katago actually does this all the time. Absolutely insane that Katago does this. But in this case, it's not a good move because when Katago does it, he's trying to build the outside influence. This move doesn't build any outside influence. Like these points really aren't a thing, and it doesn't fix your problem over here. So that's not a good move. That just gets me territory and gets rid of some Agi. That's not a bad move. I come out here. Realistically, I should have still fixed this, but I come out here, and he does this. I do this, and he actually does decent. Well, no, this is a wrong move. This should be over here. There's really not any way I'm really gonna threaten this, honestly. Yes, I might get some territory down here, but you're trying to build this Moyo up over here. So realistically, this isn't gonna I'm not gonna be able to threaten this too much. So it's not good. So he made a mistake going here, lets me get out, and he does that. Now that's also that's at this point you probably just want to jump like this. Because once again, I'm really not going to be able to threaten this group because stuff like this is if I do stuff like this is always going to be kind of like sente for you. And you already have some eye shape in here, so it's going to be very, very difficult for me to kill you or threaten you all that much. So he does that. I fly out. I was looking at this combination as well. He could get this in here, but I do have this move. So essentially he's sacrificing a lot of points down here to get the points up here, which honestly is not that bad of an idea, but I don't know if this would be enough for him to win at this point. So yeah, but he didn't do that. He came up here. I'm going to protect this cut right now. He goes here. I do this. Now this connection was a bad move by me. I should have just extended out. He's probably not going to be able to kill me here because the way this would work is I extend out, he takes it. Actually, I probably wouldn't do that. I would just either single or double jump. And this is actually quite hard for him to kill. Plus he's got problems down here as well. So that's probably what I should have done. Me connecting was a bad move. And he does do that. I think for me, I would have just blocked. I mean, I can't kill you. I don't think I can kill you. No, yeah, no, never mind. I can, never mind. I miscalculated that. But yeah, this is okay. Because there's still no Agi here. I still can't break in. Right? If I do this, you can just extend out. I don't know why it's telling me to do that, but 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The thing is, yes, white does have this 13, But the thing is, like, you know, you still get all this territory. There's no Aji here. So, and there's not really all that much here I can do. There maybe something I can do, like, from the likes of this. But even that, I don't know what I would do with this, honestly. Like, it doesn't seem like I can do anything here. So, to me, like, I probably wouldn't do this move right away. There's not too much Aji there. So I pushed just to create the cutting points for use later. This is a bad move. I would definitely not do this. I would probably just solidify this territory. Because once again, like, I'm really not going to be able to attack this all that successfully. I mean, all these are basically Sente moves, so I'm not going to be able to successfully attack that. I think he's too afraid of me actually attacking this group. But this group is actually kind of hard to attack. It's kind of disjointed, so you can just sacrifice a few stones and run the rest away if you need to. I do that, but with this invasion here, like, it's still not that great. He does that. He does actually, he should solidify the rest of this. I do take, I do this. This you should just connect. That you have a problem on the bottom, and I kind of just like fixed it for you. So this is not like, and there's the influence doesn't do too much out here. I don't really know what I was trying to do with this move. This is a bad move because it makes the Hane a little bit less severe as well. This is a bad move for me, but he doesn't do that. He does this. I do this. He goes up here. No, like this is move 87 or something, and it's still a pretty close game. Usually it's not like that, like when I play one of these teaching games, but we've avoided any major fights. So I do this, and he closes here. Now this is a big mistake by closing here. There's not much territory here to fight about. I mean, maybe a couple points, but you leave one big error there, and I go ahead and take advantage of that error. He connects. He does not connect. He should have connected, and because at least this is Gote for me. But the way he plays it, he makes it Sente for me. That's Sente for me. I didn't need to do this. Essentially, like, I just wanted a little bit more insurance for this cut, I guess. But I don't think he could have killed those 2 stones, but not these 3. So I shouldn't have done this. The block was not good either because realistically, there's nothing here. There's not much territory. Even if you do block, like I still have like this move or something, and there's just not much territory here. So you're not really protecting all that much. He blocks. I cut just for Aji purposes. That's a fine move, but he completely makes a mistake. Like I said, just do this. There's no Aji here. I can't really do anything. It doesn't really even matter which way I go because you're still 1 liberty ahead, 4 against 3. And this is just lack of reading skill. He told me later that he couldn't read out that I wouldn't kill something here. So that's a big mistake by him. But, you know, this is one of the places where you can actually protect your reading skill. So the thing is about cutting, the first thing you should ask yourself is that, like, can my opponent generate a double Atari if he does random cuts? If the answer is no, there is a decent chance that there's no Aji there. So going here is obviously a mistake. Lets me take the stone, does this, and I made a mistake here. I should have probably just extended and fought the Ko, because this is a pretty severe Ko. This is actually a fairly severe Ko for him, and it's not severe for me at all. I essentially can find a ton of Ko threats. I definitely can find a ton of Ko threats. That would actually, like, I would be okay with sacrificing this, but he would actually have to find fairly big Ko threats for this. So I made a big mistake in connecting, and then he does this. He connects here. Obviously, that's a huge mistake. There's no Aji here. And here's the thing, like, even if you can't calculate this out right, you have to block at this point, because you have to take into consideration the shape of the game, right? The goal of Go is to win the game. It doesn't matter how you win it, you just want to win it. And the thing is, like, if you let me come down here, you know that you're going to lose. You know that you're going to lose by quite a lot. There's really no way you can actually come back if you let me come down here. if you actually do this, the game can still be fairly close, and maybe you have an opportunity. But so like, even if you're not sure, as long as you know it's like, as long as you know there's not like a double Atari, you have to block at this point just because of the state of the game. So obviously a mistake coming down here. He does this, I do this. There's Aji there obviously, so he does this, and then this is kind of a useless move by me. Because there's not that much here. I mean, I do break his territory, but then he actually does that. But at this point, that's actually not the best move. This is easily the best move. And then going down this way. This is easily the best move. Because realistically, like, even in this thickness, it's really hard for me to kill you. It is actually quite hard for me to kill you here. Because if I do this, you can just, if I do this, you can just do this. And, you know, if I go anywhere, you can just do this. And even if you do this, I mean, it is a little bit hard for me to kill you. Because, you know, you get this and I would have to do that, but then this is just alive, right? So like, this is actually very, very hard to kill, and I'm pretty sure this is actually this group is actually alive. If you, a group down here, if you do like something like this, is actually alive. So it would be very, very difficult for me to kill him that way. So he does this, and this is fine too. This is actually fine as well, but in this variation you have to cut. You absolutely have to cut in this variation. And there is Aji down here. I can't fix this if he does this. So this is a good move, but his next move kind of kills it. Because now you've helped me repair the cut, and this is where the value of this stone comes in. Since I've eaten this stone, I'm not really afraid of fighting you over here. So if I go down like this, then obviously you can't live in there. So he goes up, he basically dies here. And obviously, like, you know, this is not very big right now, but, you know, he doesn't really help him here because I can just push through here, and he has to, you know, it's double Atari, so it's not good. He does this. I should have Hane'd up for sure, but I didn't like the cut and coming out this way. Just be safe, take the win, essentially. I know I'm up by like 20, 30 points already, so I just took the safe route here. Then he does this, he does that, I do this. This is fighting over very little territory, so that's not a good idea. I come out here. You're saying, what, can he wedge? Yeah, he can wedge, but if he does this, I'm just going to come down here. These 2 points, these 2 stones aren't worth all that much. So that's why I did that. Push. And then I don't connect this because I don't really connect this because once again, if you do this, I just connect and you get a gote of like 5 points. Not worth it. So I didn't really connect that. I'm going to do this. Realistically, like, this is worth more. I should have just extended that. He ends up getting that. I take. And he does this. Now, this essentially has its own issues. He needs to do this to fix this spot. This definitely has its own issues because this is a very, very loose group. And realistically, you can't do something like this because there's just like, yeah, that gives you all sorts of problems. If you do this, like if you connect this, now this is actually going to be a bit of a problem if I actually, this is going to be like, the stuff's just going to be a problem because I can do this, and you basically have to block. If you don't, and I do this, you're dead. If you block this way, I'm going to Atari this way. And there's really, like, now your 3 stones are dead. So you can't do this because this shape is very, very loosey-goosey. I just played this bad. I played it the safe way, which I really shouldn't have. I get this territory. He does that. That's just pushing too far. I could have easily killed a lot of this. I go down here, and he does this. I do this. I I definitely shouldn't have connected because I could have just killed this down here. But I do this. Goes up. Now, the thing is, like, at this point, he absolutely has to fix. And just let me get a charge. Get a charge off. Because at this point, like, even something as simple as like this, as simple as this, basically kills you. Right now, this is all trapped. So that's one that you actually need to look out for. He blocks over here. I got really stupid at this point. I honestly should have just like done this. I got really stupid at this point, so I did this and gave him a chance to fix it. I did the charge first, and then I did this. This is the move to go. It's definitely the move to go. I would have done this, and then he would have been okay here because I would have to connect. And this, like, yeah, like that just wouldn't work for me. But he actually answered wrong as well. I did this. He connects, but if he actually connects, it's not a forcing move, so it lets me go down here. And then I get basically these 3 stones. So he sacrificed about like 6, 7, 8 points here as well. But I could have gotten more. Definitely could have gotten more. Because I played that in completely wrong. He does that. It's just some finishing up moves here. There's one more mistake I want to discuss. This, after I connect, you have to connect. Because he does this, he does that, and then he doesn't really fix it. What did he do? Oh, he does here. Yeah, this is not viable, because if you try to extend out, pushing here basically kills you. So that's not viable, because you can't connect. So pushing here actually kills you. So yeah, that's not actually viable. So you need to fix that. I did this, which I just didn't bother to read, I guess. I didn't really bother to read, which lets him fix it here. But he doesn't do that. He does this. Now, like, obviously this basically kills you. I mean, it doesn't kill you, but it does let me get that, and it's Sente for me. But I kind of like did it in an easier way. So this is not a fix, because there's too much Aji down here. You don't have enough liberties. So I just basically did this first. That is the right response, but that's not the right response. You have to do this at this point, because let me tell you why this isn't the right response. This is a Ko here, but this Ko is very, very light for white. All I lose is like 5 points here. But if you lose, and I get this, like say you play a Ko and I take this, if you have to spend another move to capitalize on that Ko, and then like if I disconnect here, all this corner is dead. So it's very heavy for black, very light for white. That's why you don't want to fight that Ko. There's this. I'm basically fighting any Ko because I don't lose much in that corner, so any Ko is good enough for me. So we just go through all the Ko threats. Like even something like this is big enough to take those 4 stones for me to actually just use as a Ko. Does this, I do that. Now he does this. This is not big enough of a Ko threat. These 3 are roughly 5 points. And if you take here, I can take 1 back, and these 3 are connected. So obviously this is going to be much more than 5 points. So I disconnect. Now I make another mistake here. I take it back and rescue those 3, but I should have counted, and I should have done that, because if I do that, like I said, this entire corner is mine, and this entire corner is worth a lot more than these 3 stones. So I definitely made a mistake there. I take it back. He does this. I connect. He does this. Does this. I basically squeeze. Just wreck the rest of this territory. The rest of the finish closing moves don't really matter all that much because the game's been decided. And I end up winning by about 35 points. So this is not a game where I actually fought all that much, but still like a couple of critical mistakes, both from me and him, that you could actually learn from. And kind of like the difference, just like between like a Dan player that's kind of like casually just playing and by instinct, and kind of like a lot of the game like came down to difference in reading level, because realistically like his perception of what's big and what's not in the opening up to the mid game was pretty decent, honestly. But his reading here really cost the game, and then like obviously lack of reading here and here and here. So like these are kind of like the technical situations where if you allow analysis, you grow dependent on analysis, and without analysis, you wouldn't actually like you wouldn't be able to outread the other person. And if you really want to improve on your entire aspect of Go in live games, you definitely don't want to use something like that, because in a tournament you won't be able to use it, and if you're used to it, then that'll hurt you a lot. But like lack of reading skills here, and once again, like I said, ask yourself: can my opponent generate a double Atari? If he cannot generate a double Atari, you should definitely look to block instead of letting him destroy your territory. This one down here is actually quite useful for future reference, because that does provide a really, really good way for an invasion. And of course, like this Aji here, like that particular shape is just really bad. You can't like extend yourself. And this is one that I actually see pretty often, that low Qs actually mess up on, because they can't really seem to read like how you actually do stuff in here. So that's where the main points were, like the game was lost, but this was a really good teaching game. This player is better than most other 7Ks, definitely a lot better than the 7Ks I played on Fox. But overall, like as a Dan player, like when you're teaching these games, you basically just have to wait for mistakes, because eventually they will make them, because like the difference in reading ability and the difference in just like judging ability. But hope you learn something from this. If you clean up some of these mistakes, you can reach the Dan level from 7Q, because like I said when I pointed out in this game, at least when I'm playing casually, I will make a lot of mistakes on my own. So like even it's not too hard to actually reach the 1 Dan level from 7Q, because even if you make a lot of mistakes, you can still reach the 1 Dan level, and I will screw up on reading all the time, especially in casual games. So that's the news. That's the match for today. Hope you learned something. Like and subscribe. Give me a like, and I'll join you on the next game.